All right, we begin the 7 o'clock hour with this. Former President Donald Trump making a major prediction about President Biden at last night's town hall with Sean Hannity. And the president telling donors he's not sure he'd run for re-election if Trump was not in the race. Wow. Alexis McAdams joins us now from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where the next GOP debate is being held. Alexis, that's pretty revealing news that the president quickly walked back.
Brian, that's right. Yeah, we'll get to those comments that he said there at that event just yesterday in just a second. But here in Alabama, it's really going to be a race for second place on that debate stage behind me later on tonight between Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and then Vivek Ramaswamy, who's also trying to make grounds here and held some events. But the frontrunner, Donald Trump, is skipping this debate yet again and was in Iowa with Sean Hannity last night, saying President Joe Biden isn't going to be the Democratic nominee. Watch.
I personally don't think he makes it. Okay, I haven't said that. I'm saving it for this big town hall. I personally don't think he makes it. I think he's in bad shape physically. Do you remember when he said, I'd like to take him behind the barn? If he took me behind the barn and I went like this, I believe he'd fall over.
So those comments coming out last night, Brian, and at a fundraiser out in Massachusetts on Monday, President Biden explaining why he's running for re-election, saying off camera to some donors, if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running, but we cannot let him win. So as Nikki Haley works to close that gap on Ron DeSantis, the former ambassador to the UN is gaining steam. Now, Democratic mega donor Reid Hoffman given $250,000 to Nikki Haley's super PAC, saying he's voting for Biden, but hopes his donation to Haley will help her beat Trump, which is his goal here. And now billionaire Home Depot co-founder telling Fox Business just yesterday he's about to throw his support behind Nikki Haley. Watch.
Yeah, I'm just about ready. I had a nice meeting with her yesterday in my office. And I'll tell you, she came through loud and clear, straight shooter. She recognizes the challenges of the issues. And I think she's got the determination to effectuate change in America, which is desperately needed right now.
So we're waiting to hear more on that endorsement again this morning, but just over a month, right, to the Iowa caucuses. So there's been a lot of activity on the ground in the Hawkeye State. Trump saying just last night to supporters that he's going to blitz Iowa and be there several times, knowing he's in the lead, but said he's taking no chances. Ron DeSantis has hit all 99 counties. He'll be back again after he leaves Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So we'll keep a close eye on that. We'll send it back to you.
Alexis, I've got a question for you. So you mentioned Reid Hoffman, this guy who's very wealthy. He helped start LinkedIn and stuff like that, venture capitalist. He's giving $250,000 to a Republican. He's a Democrat, I do believe. So is he giving the money to Nikki Haley so that she beats Donald Trump, so that Nikki Haley is easier to beat for Joe Biden, or does he actually want the Republican to win?
No, he says he's definitely voting for Joe Biden. He just thinks that this is the best way to get Donald Trump out of the way. So he says he hopes this money will help Nikki Haley. Right. And then he'll have to see what happens if, Nikki Haley faces off against Joe Biden there.
So yeah, I guess he believes that Trump is a tougher out. That's interesting because Nikki Haley, up until this last poll, seems to have beat Biden pretty easily compared to Donald Trump from 7. She was in double figures in a couple of polls, Alexis. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
and
Alexis.
the ads are so expensive, $250,000. It's a lot of money to the average person. But for a political campaign, that's not going to help.
$25.
That's not going to help her beat him necessarily.
So if you're Nikki Haley, do you keep the money or do you give it back?
You spend it.
You take the money.
Yeah, when you want to be a president.
Yeah, I mean...
because Nikki Haley and Reid Hoffman have the same goal, and that is to beat Donald Trump.
Well, it does look like the donor class, the folks that typically control elections in the sense of if you're a candidate, you need the money to win, have moved on, it appears, from Ron DeSantis to more of Nikki Haley because they feel like he had his shot early on, that she's the one that could take out Donald Trump, Brian.
Right. And so far, if you look at that Harris poll last night, Trump would beat Biden by 7 points. Haley would beat Biden by 4 points. Here's Trump last night talking about the need to win big in Iowa and what he plans on doing in the next 6 weeks.
I want to thank the people in this room because they really get it. I don't have to go through the liquid gold with them. They know all about it, and they also know they have their own liquid gold. It's called corn, okay? And that corn is just as good. But I love you very much. You've been so incredible to me. I'm going to be around for the next, it's 5 weeks now. And we'll be coming here a little bit, and then the last couple of weeks we'll be blitzing because we don't want to we're up, I guess, by like 30 or 40 points, but we're not taking any chances. We don't want to take any chance.
He loves Iowa.
He does like Iowa.
Iowa's a great state. Have y'all ever been? It is.
I was born in Iowa.
That's right. That's right.
I got to ask you,
really
Ainsley,
good people.
Did you expect there to be a shift in the polling since you had Kim Reynolds endorse Ron DeSantis in the race? I know Donald Trump is leading by a lot, probably about 30-some points in Iowa. But with that endorsement, because she's a super popular governor, did you expect there to be some change?
Well, I am all about loyalty, and Donald Trump endorsed her, and then she came out and said she wasn't going to endorse anyone quite yet because she wanted to stay neutral and wanted to, see who was ahead. And then Donald Trump didn't like that, and he, blasted her for that. And then she decided to endorse Ron DeSantis. I'm not sure that was the smartest move. Ron DeSantis is very smart. I think eventually he has a really good shot of being president, but Donald Trump is so far ahead in the polls in Iowa and all across the country. I'm not sure if her voters actually appreciated that, because if you look at the makeup of her voters in Iowa, the majority of them are supporting Trump.
Right, but with that caucus situation, you can really be convinced in a caucus, and you wonder, DeSantis is all in. If he has a disastrous finish in Iowa, it's over. It's really over. Because
what would be disastrous? Like not finishing second?
Right. Not finishing second, or let's say like the polls are right now.
He won't finish first.
He
Donald
has
Trump's
to win
way up in the polls.
But here's the thing, and Ron DeSantis famously spent a boatload of dough in Iowa creating the best ground game of any Republican. It would be curious to see how much of that is left, because when it was first announced, it was like Ron DeSantis person will go and knock on the door of every person who is caucused in Iowa on the Republican Party 4 times before the election. Got to wonder how many times they wound
He's
up
knocking. Are the voters listening? That's the big question.
The fight is for second place. All right.
Knock 3 times. What is that song? Knock 3 times?
Yeah.
On the window?
3
is it?
times.
So he wanted to knock 3 times on the window if you want
on
me?
the ceiling.
Oh, on the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's like an apartment complex.
Right, exactly.
Boom,
with the broom?
Boom, boom.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally different. It didn't help the talking point. I apologize.
Okay.
It's the Brian way.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
Never helping the talking.
Never helping. Always hurting.
All right. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.